Hi Chakits, I have been following you and watching your YouTube channel for years.
I have decided to finally relocate to Las Vegas and want to start a new chapter in my life. I know you're the perfect realtor to help guide me to find my next dream home. I am looking for a modern kitchen, large backyard with a pool and a golf course community.
My name is Chakits Krulsawat with Simply Vegas, a licensed real estate agent out here in Las Vegas, Nevada. I help buyers like this all the time, so if you're looking for a licensed professional, give us a call at 702-319-1092 or visit lvhomeexperts.com. Buying a home starts here. Is your credit score holding you back from purchasing a home? GC Credit Coaches is a repair company that's made easy. Their goal is to challenge and remove all negative errors that hurt your credit score. On average, GC clients see about 10.2 negative items removed over 4 months. Start improving your credit score today with a simple 2-minute online enrollment for a free consultation and a complete credit audit. GC Credit Coaches offers competitive monthly pricing, no contracts, no hidden fees, and the service stops once you are satisfied. GC Credit Coaches removes inquiries, collections, charge-off bankruptcies, and repossessions. Don't forget to visit gccreditcoaches.com. Live. All right, guys, welcome to the LV Home Experts podcast. So today we have a very special guest, which is I literally lost your Instagram. It's Lisa Sung Sutton.
Yes.
I remembered it. That's right. So there's so much going on in Las Vegas, but I was looking at your Instagram. It is very fascinating. You're an entrepreneur, but most importantly, you were a former
Miss Nevada.
Miss Nevada. Mm-hmm. How did that come about? Like, I'm just kind of curious. Like, how does that work? First, I want to ask you, like, on the judging part.
Okay.
Like, how does that work? I mean, if you look at a beautiful girl, they're all beautiful. Like, what are you actually judging? Like,
it's very subjective, right?
Yeah.
Of like what's attractive and what's not. So in the Miss United States system, which is the one I competed in, there are 4 areas of competition.
Okay.
Interview, swimsuit, evening gown, and onstage question. They're all weighted evenly. So if you look at it, actually 50% of your score is talking.
Really?
Because it's interview and onstage question combined together, right?
Okay.
So the sequence of how you meet the judges is also very important. So the first time that you meet the judges is actually in private interview, which is before the show, which is the pageant that everyone thinks of when you're out there in your swimsuit.
Yeah.
That's only 25% of your score. So if, let's say, you're terrible in interview and you bomb everything else, I mean, it doesn't matter if you're 10 out of 10 on your swimsuit, your odds of winning, like mathematically, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So you really have to be strong in everything, but most importantly, you've got to wow them the first time that you meet them, which is in private interview. Okay.
Now, do you think some of the judges could be more biased based upon, race?
I think
the look of the female, because like
Sure.
I'm gonna say, like guys, if I was a judge, there's certain type of women I like that are more attractive than others, right?
Sure.
You kind of flock to what you like. Like, how does that work? I mean,
well, it's certainly subjective, right? Which is why you have a panel of like 5 or 7 judges, right? It's not like it's like 1 or 2 people.
Yeah.
But in addition to that, it's kind of, you're holistically looking for like the best ambassador for the organization.
Yeah.
You're looking for who's going to be the best representative out there in the community. So let's say you're someone who prefers, 5'10" blondes, right?
Okay.
But let's say the 5'10" blonde that you meet, who's a contestant, let's say she just bombs her, like she's terrible in an interview, and you're asking her, hey, what would you do if you were to win Miss Nevada, or what community work have you been doing? And she's either giving you dumb answers or she's not interested. And you're looking at her going, give me something here, like help me out,
Help me out, give me something.
Yes, like give me a reason to like you, give me a reason to score you up. And so that's why you really have to look at the contestant across the rubric of all these different areas, and also knowing what is the job that she's going to have after she wins, because that's really when the real work begins.
So how do you even compete in that pageant? Or are there like certain pageants that you have to go first and qualify in order to get into that pageant?
Yeah, so kind of similar to sports. So you'll have a local, then you'll have state, then you'll have national, and then you'll have international. So, you start at the local level. Here in Las Vegas, it's not that it's an exclusive territory to Las Vegas. So my local title, I was Miss Las Vegas, but I was competing against Miss Clark County, Miss Summerlin, Miss Green Valley, Miss Henderson, Miss Lake Las Vegas, Miss North Las Vegas. So you have kind of all the different areas. It's not that Las Vegas is just like one locked territory. You compete against everyone across the state.
Okay. How'd you even get into something like this?
So my mom is a former Miss Korea.
Oh, no wonder why. So that's where this all transpired from.
So, and Asian moms don't play,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And so she called me the fall of 2013, and she was like, "Hey, like, are you competing for Miss Las Vegas?" And I was like, "I don't know. I'm kind of busy. I just started a company. Like, I'm working here." And she was like, "Well, you're getting ready to age out." And I was like,
oh my God. Well, when you say age out, like, what does that mean? Like, at what age when you say you age out?
So at that time, it was actually in the rules. There's an age restriction that the Miss division, MISS, Miss, was 20 to 29. So you couldn't be older than 29 crossing the national stage. So at the time, I was 28, turning 29 that year, the coming up year, which is when I would have been competing for nationals if I won. So the timing was, this was my last year of eligibility, right? Otherwise, you fall off a cliff. I don't know. So
how do you train for something like this?
Yeah. So I hired a pageant coach.
Okay.
Everyone, I think, prepares differently.
Yeah.
I'm definitely a big believer in putting in resources and with people who know more than you, who are experts in the field, right? So that's what I did. I hired a pageant coach. He was out of Alabama, and he had coached the last 2 back-to-back Miss Americas, and his emphasis was on communication. And so he was just excellent to work with. He was ultimately a communication coach at heart, and then everything else, has to line up as well.
Okay. Also, you own a brokerage too as well, correct?
Yes.
And what's the name of that brokerage, and when did you start it?
Yeah, Angle Invokers, Las Vegas, and Angle Invokers, Henderson. So I ran a team at Sotheby's for 5.5 years, and then acquired the Christie's brand and brought Christie's International Real Estate to Las Vegas, and had that here for a little over 2 years. Christie's International Real Estate got sold to At Properties in November of 21, and then I acquired the Angle Invokers brand February of 22.
So what made you wanted to branch off and start your own company and be your own entrepreneur, boss, and all that stuff?
Yeah. Well, so I started my entrepreneurial journey working in a law firm. So my background's in law. I did business litigation and business bankruptcy in the downturn, which was like the best time, right?
So were you like doing short sales?
This
and all
is
that?
2010, yeah.
Oh,
so
wow.
it was like everyone was filing bankruptcy, everyone was suing each other. And so we were just up to our necks, right, and in work. And it was just an incredible time to be part of the kind of city infrastructure because you got to be boots on the ground, base level. So that's when our family started buying real estate here in 2011, right, when it was still bottoming out. Because we're picking up stuff not only from out of Chapter 7s, but also out of Chapter 11s. So when these businesses would file Chapter 11, you're looking up these motions to sell. They're hitting the docket left and right. And it's like,
so you were at ground level and you could see what was going on.
Yeah, in real time.
So you was cherry picking basically.
In real time, yes.
Now when you say we bought, who's we? Is it you and your husband or you and your family?
Family, yeah.
Okay.
So my parents built a real estate portfolio in Arizona. And so then when I moved to Nevada after school, obviously I saw what was going on here. And I was like, you guys need to be buying in Nevada. Like, this is the place. So we started that 2011, but I was working in a firm, working my big girl job, working at the firm. And 2012, one of my girlfriends, her name's Danielle, she told me about these alcohol cupcakes she had been making. And I'm like, that's a great idea.
Cupcake.
Alcohol-infused cupcakes. And I'm like, girl, that's a great idea. And I'm like, move in with me. Like, I just bought a house in Summerlin. Like, move into my house. Let's start the company. I'll help you. And so I stayed working full-time at the firm for 18 months while we started Sin City Cupcakes. And that was my first taste and experience of, wow, I can have my own business as long as I team up with an operations partner and kind of keep bringing the same core things I'm good at, right? Whether that's the funding, the legal side. And I was like, you're going to handle day to day of like answering the phones and, baking cupcakes during the day because I literally have a day job. I'm going to be working at the office. But then nights and weekends, I was baking cupcakes. I was running deliveries. I was setting up events. I was just like doing all the things with her. And that was what started me along this kind of entrepreneurial path.
Now, baking the cupcakes with alcohol.
Yes.
Does it even taste? I don't drink, so I just don't like the taste of liquor.
Okay. Yeah.
So do you have that liquor taste in it?
Well, it's muted, of course, right?
Yeah.
But we don't pour the alcohol into the batter and then bake the cake and then tell you it's an alcohol-infused cupcake.
Yeah.
So what we would do is we would bake the cake and then we would core out the center and actually create a proprietary filling that gets injected into the cake after it's baked. They're really good.
So it's like a little sweet but a little bitter, I would say? Or
no,
like,
it's smooth, right?
Okay.
Because the alcohol is folded in. So depending on the flavor of the cupcake, right? So we would do margarita cupcakes. We would do chocolate wasted cupcakes. So it's like this filling of it's like a chocolate pudding with chocolate vodka in it. Like it doesn't taste bad,
Oh, interesting. And you still own that company till this day?
It got acquired last year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So,
So 11 years. We were 11 years in business, which was amazing, and just amazing time. The Vegas had its come up during that time, right? Like we were involved in like everything, every major sporting event, charity event, golf tournament. It was just so much fun.
Now, I want to get into the real estate side, because a lot of people that do get into real estate, they always focus on like buying a single family residence and growing your wealth. And that's a great way to grow your wealth. And in today's market, the cash flows are just really not there anymore for single family residents, right? I mean, you could cash flow a property where you're getting, $100 or $200, but you have a month where it goes vacant. You pretty much lost your cash flow. The fascinating thing that I've seen on your Instagram is that you have mailboxes. What is all that about? This is actually pretty interesting. And let's talk about that.
Sure. Well, so on the real estate investment piece, I mean, I'm a big proponent of real estate, building wealth through real estate for sure. And I think it's a matter of, if you look at it as not necessarily like, oh, I want to make sure that I'm cash flowing X amount per month. Yes, you want to be cash flowing, of course, you want to come out of pocket, but it's more like asset accumulation that you can use as leverage for other things. So with the mailbox stores, so these are independent mailbox rental pack and ship stores. So think like a UPS store, but independent. So it can service UPS, FedEx, and the Postal Service. And I have 2 of those stores here in Las Vegas that I started going on 6 years ago now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
and how is it doing now?
They're fantastic. What I realized from the cupcakes was that, in getting into the mailbox business, I was like, I want a business that doesn't deal with a perishable product. I want a business where I don't have to deal with like the health department or any additional regulatory agencies. And obviously coming from real estate, and law, I was like, I don't want a business where my clients can like call me after hours or expect that I'm available or just, any of those things. So that's what I love about the mailbox stores. We're open Monday through Saturday, 9 to 6, closed on Sundays. No one at the mailbox stores, aside from staff, has my cell phone number. Okay. Right? There are no customers that call you after 6 p.m. They go get their mail the next day. It's all good.
You're basically still owning real estate, but small pieces of real estate.
Yes. So think like mini storage units. Yeah. Mini storage units.
That's fascinating.
You buy it once, right? You buy the mailbox units once, and then you keep renting them out and turning them over. Our smalls rent out at $20 a month, medium $30 a month, large are $35 a month.
You're getting that much a month for one of those mailboxes?
Yeah, and we could charge more, but we don't. I mean, it's crazy to say. It's the same pricing we've had since 2018. I mean, the UPS stores charge more.
I don't know that market, but you're saying that you can charge more for those mailboxes. Now, I know I have a P.O. box, and I think I pay like $240 for the whole year.
Yeah,
but it's a small little
about right.
mailbox.
Yeah, it's about $20-ish a month.
Okay, yeah. Which is, I didn't realize you could charge more for something like that. And is there really a demand for something like that?
Huge demand. So before I opened my own stores, I also had a mailbox at a local UPS store that I'd had for like 7 years. Like I'd had it for a very long time because it's convenient, right? You know this. Like it's nice having a different address that you can use for business. You can use as a mailing address. Someone's going to be there to sign for your stuff. It's not going to get left on the porch and perhaps taken by someone. And you just don't have your home address floating around out there either. So, our mailbox customers, it's really a wide gradient. You have folks who are kind of small business owners. We've got a landscaping company. We've got people who sell on Etsy part-time from home. We have people who work for Amazon from home, a lot of work from home folks. Again, who just want like a safe, secure mailing address. And then you have folks who are, more entrepreneurial. They have a couple of different businesses, some even brick and mortar. But again, they like having one central place where they know that they can come pick up their mail and their packages will be held, as opposed to trying to send it to different businesses.
Now, you said you have 2 stores, and I think you started both stores within like 5 months.
Yeah, within 2 months of each other.
Oh,
yeah.
2 months.
Yeah.
Wow, that's fascinating. So let me ask you this: as far as capital-wise, how much money do you need to start something like this?
I started both stores with less than $60,000.
Really?
Because if you think about the build out, right? So again, I was looking for a business model which kind of low barrier to entry too, right?
Yeah.
Like if you do a restaurant, you're talking 300 grand in TIs easy, right? Unless you find second gen or something. And so with these stores, what I loved is that what do you really actually need in there? You need counters. You need retail counters. You need mailboxes. You need some shipping boxes. You need computers.
Yeah.
You need storage racks. Like it's not a restaurant or a bakery that requires specialty equipment aside from mailboxes, right? Specialty equipment and, water lines and gas hookups and, grease traps and everything else that you had to get with the bakery.
Now, what happens if somebody doesn't pay? Like, how does that work with their mail?
Yeah.
Do you just chuck the mail? I mean, I figure you can't just chuck it, right?
Yeah, so it's within our mailbox agreement, right? So every one of our customers have an internal contract between the store and themselves. And it basically says that if you go into default, which means you're not paying, your credit card has gone bad or you're ghosting us on payment, then we basically, what we do is we'll give it an additional 30 days because sometimes folks will get caught up, 2 weeks later, whatever it is, we do charge a late fee. But if we just never hear from them again, which is rare, but it does happen, just never hear from them again. The credit card has gone bad that we're keeping on file and then we just never hear from them again. We give it 30 days per the contract. And then after that, anything that is received, we send it return to sender, RTS, return to sender back. And we just switch out the lock. That's it.
Seems like it's very easy.
It's so low maintenance compared to...
Filing for eviction?
Oh, 100%. Can you imagine? No way. Like it's certainly, it's a different animal.
So how many boxes do you currently have right now?
So we have, we've got 660 boxes. In our store. And then we have I'd say about 65% of that rented out right now. Okay,
so basically if you rent them all out, you're making about $13,000 a month, which is really good.
And so the key is cover your overhead, right? You want to cover your payroll. You want to cover your rent at the store, which is a fixed cost. And then after that, all your shipping, for example. So we have shipping, we have notary, we have U-Haul, we have other services there. The rest of that theoretically should be profit then because your fixed costs are covered.
Now, if somebody's watching this podcast and actually want to get started, is there still enough demand out there to do mailboxes? Like if I want to get started today, can I go open up one right now on the east side of town? Is there a margin? Is there still enough room?
I think so because it's a very hyper-local, almost micro-local clientele. Your store becomes a convenience spot for your customers. So I like to look for locations that are high density residential or if they're like building another apartment complex nearby or something like that. But it's super hyper local. So for example, my Southwest location on Fort Apache, we actually there's a UPS store, franchise store, that's like kind of catty corner from us. Like you get out on Fort Apache and then you go down half a light and it's off to the right. Like it's pretty close. And then the actual post office is on 215 in Flamingo. So it's pretty close to us. Why do people come to us? Why did some people switch from the UPS store over to us? One, we have better customer service. Two, our hours were consistent. We're open Monday through Saturday, 9 to 6 for some people that fit their lifestyle better. Our mailboxes were actually a tad cheaper than what the UPS store charges. And we weren't nickel and diming for like extra mail hold fees for a package or this or that or whatever. But most importantly, we had people who were like, perfect, I literally live right behind you. And this is easier for me to turn into than going down half a block and turning. So people love convenience. And if you're providing good service and you're convenient, they'll come to you.
Good service, customer service, okay. How do you train your employees to the level that you want.
Yeah. You know, at the end of the day, this is ultimately a retail position. Yes, it's shipping, but it's not that we're looking for folks that like used to work at a post office or something or have any like shipping experience. I love looking for, you know, kind of forward-facing customer service folks who have either retail experience or even food service experience, because they appreciate the kind of stability and easiness of the schedule at our stores, Monday through Saturday, 9 to 6, right? So they're not working major holidays, they're not working nights, they're not working weekends in general. But ultimately, it just comes down to service. So it's not a difficult job to learn of the position, of the duties of the position. We're more filtering for how are you going to treat our customers, and are you going to remember mailbox customers' names, and you know, be a friendly face for them when they're coming in to get their mail.
I like that. Now, if somebody wants to get started, right? How do I get started? Where do I get this information?
Yeah, so by chance, I ended up starting a course that teaches you how to open up your own mailbox store. I have a great friend, Cody Sanchez. She and I have been friends a long time, way before she blew up on YouTube. Okay. Back when she still worked private equity, and we were, you know, became friends. Fast forward, she hit me up 2 years ago and was like, "Hey, I'm going to start this YouTube channel. I'm going to come to Vegas. Let's film in your businesses." So we did. We filmed in the ship stores. We filmed at England Vokers, and for whatever reason, the video we did about the mailbox stores just blew up. Like, people loved it. And so every week I was getting inbounds from people who were like, "Hey, I want to open up a store in Torrance, California," whatever place. And I was answering these one-off emails, and it got inundating. And I was just like, this is not like a good use of my time to be able to disseminate information.
Yeah.
So finally Cody was like, "Dude," she's like, "if you don't start a course, I'm going to start a course." And I was like, I like fought it because I was like, I'm not a course person, right? Like, I was like, I make my money from real business, you know, but I was like, you know what, this is going to be the most efficient way to disseminate information quickly, right? And reach a lot of people. And so that's what I did. I hired a course consultant and put together the course. We launched it July of last year of 23. And now we have over 400 students in the course.
That's crazy.
Over 15 of them have opened up their own store all around the country, which is like super exciting and really inspiring to see. And so it's just amazing.
How much is the course?
$21.95. And
That's not
so
bad.
it literally, what I did was I just took all my SOPs. I took everything that we used to actually efficiently run our stores successfully. And I put it all into one kind of A to Z, right?
So it's literally step by step.
It's step by step. It's step by step, and it has all the downloads of literally what we use in the stores of like our mailbox agreements, our operating templates, like, you know, scripts for UPS, for U-Haul, all that. So, literally everything we use to train our staff.
Do you provide the software too
there.
as well, and all the stuff you use?
So there's a software we utilize called Postal Mate, and we worked out an agreement with them so that my mailbox students can get a discount from them. I think they get a month free. So yes, absolutely. Everything that we actually physically use in the store is right there, no gatekeeping, out on the course, because, you know, I can put it all out there, but like, God bless you if you're going to go execute, right? You know that. Execution's the hardest part.
Yeah.
So
now I want to talk about your investment journey. How many properties do you currently own right now?
So our portfolio is just around 60 million. But that's been built up from when my parents started it back when I was in elementary school. So this is like the 90s. This is them, you know, starting their journey in the 90s
and the
in
fascinating
Arizona.
thing, they were W-2 employees too, right?
Yeah, so my dad worked, he worked for the government. My dad was Air Force for 20 years, and then he worked for the Department of Defense while I was growing up. So he was just a W-2 salary guy. And then my mom, she would stay at home with me until 6th grade. And then she went and got her cosmetology license, and actually to this day still owns a hair salon. So just,
So
you know,
she
kind
does
of
all your
normal.
hair for every pageant.
She does do my hair. Has to be mom approved.
Yes.
So yeah, you know, so they weren't, you know, venture capitalists or private equity or, you know, name your kind of, you know, big name profession.
They slowly grow, basically.
Exactly, very slowly, but you know, consistency over time, right? And I think that's what I love about real estate is that it doesn't matter what your background is or your education level. It's more like, are you making the right choices and are you staying consistent? And in general, if you follow kind of fairly simple guidelines and hold over time, right, you'll have success in it.
What is your current assessment of the Las Vegas housing market right now?
I think it's been an incredible, really, really incredible ascent that we've seen, right? We've been here, in real estate for kind of similar period of time. I moved here in 2010.
Okay.
So I've been here 14 years now. And just seeing the level of growth that we've had, in particular since COVID onward, right? I mean, what was it, 6 years ago, our median sales price was what, 250,000 in Clark County? Now it's, 460, somewhere in there. So that kind of growth, I think only comes from, these migration patterns that we're seeing with folks in particular who are fleeing high tax states, California in particular, because we're still affordable, especially in relation to what they have going on over there. But I think I'm so bullish on Vegas. I think Vegas in particular, we're business friendly, no state income tax, very low corporate tax. Cost of living is relatively low in comparison to the big city amenities that you get, right? This is an international destination. So you can come here, you can go work a job, or you can start a business. And I always tell people, if you have an idea for a product or service that caters to a tourist market, like alcohol cupcakes, why not try it in Vegas? Because you already have a test case here. You have 50 million tourists that are coming through our airport alone, right? They're all coming here to spend, overindulge, buy and do things they're not going to buy and do at home. They're already coming with the mentality. So just get your product or service in front of them, because if it doesn't make it here, chances are it's not going to make it anywhere else.
Yeah. So let me just ask you bluntly, do you see the market crashing?
I don't see where we get some huge influx of inventory, right? In order for pricing to come down, to drop 30% or more, there has to be a massive influx of inventory. Where's that inventory coming from?
Yeah.
How many people do you know are locked in on a really good interest rate, right?
Me.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I ain't moving.
And who's leaving that, right?
Yeah,
like who's
exactly.
defaulting on that and walking away from all the equity in the house that we've had so much appreciation on, walking away from that super low interest rate, like who knows when you'll see it again, right? I just don't see where the huge, massive influx of inventory comes from to drive pricing down to result in a crash. I just I don't see where it comes from.
Today, the minimum price point for a home is $455,000. Average household income is about $80,000 here, which is, if you're a first-time home buyer making that kind of money, I mean, that is well beyond
Sure,
your
good
means,
for you. Yeah.
right? I mean, you're it's hard to survive. Where does it come to a point where it says, hey, we can no longer afford, which is, I'm going to say that's happening now, and I'm going to say 95% of my clients are repositioning, right? Like you said, taxes, right? The weather, the entertainment, right? They're all repositioning out here because they're selling their properties like in California, Hawaii, and the East Coast. They look at our pricing at the $455,000. They're like,
amazing.
this is a great deal.
Yeah.
So when does it come to a point? Where's that threshold to say, hey, you know what? Well, we're starting to put the brakes on this thing where Vegas is starting to get pretty pricey here. Do you have like a number, or do you have a gauge on that?
I don't know that it's a number, but I do think, everything kind of has to match the pace of growth as well. And I mean, as you know, we're in a valley, right? We're in this bowl. Over 80% of Clark County is still federally owned land, right? It's owned by BLM, Bureau of Land Management. So, really we should be leaning on policymakers to help kind of start unlocking some of that land that's owned up by the government, because that's really how we're going to be able to have sustainable growth, have some sort of inventory that's coming online, right, as opposed to housing shortage that we have now, unlocking that in a friendly way for developers to create affordable housing for folks who want to buy or rent. I think it'd be foolish for us to think that we can sustain in the little bowl that we're in right now without any further development, taking the 15 south, obviously up northwest. We need to start unlocking some of that land, and the only way we can do that is by leaning on our elected officials.
Are you still buying investment properties till this day?
Yeah. So in general, just on a personal level, I buy between 1 and 4 every year. I love scouring like the notices of default and just kind of
I
seeing.
mean, that's kind of like where you play, right?
Yeah, just just kind of seeing like what's up, right? Like I like to look for trends. So I like to see, hey, like are homes consistently showing up in a certain zip code on this list? Are homes showing up a certain street on this list? It's quite interesting to see once you start accumulating data over time. But I really like new construction, new builds to rent out to folks in particular who are coming from California who are like so impressed with the rental price. They think it's so inexpensive compared to what they were paying. And it's a brand new home. So, with new construction, like I purchased an 89138, so kind of, North Summerlin-ish, 215 Far Hills. I locked that in from the builder, and then it was finally done, 8 months later or whatever. So I'd locked in my pricing, right? It was under $500,000. 3-bedroom, attached 2-car garage, townhome, but brand new construction. Comes with a 1-year warranty with everything. All the appliances are included as well. So great, right? Not coming out of pocket on appliances. And it was just totally turnkey, ready to go. And so I closed on it, got the rental listing up. And I mean, within 3 days, I had multiple applications, and I rented it out to a physician who moved here from California.
Was your rents able to cover the mortgage?
Yeah, so it's renting out at $2,650.
Okay.
So, I'm covering mortgage and HOA, and that's really all I'm asking for in the position that I'm in relation to what I look for my real estate portfolio, right? I just want the mortgage and the HOA covered.
Yeah, so you're not really going for the cash flow. You're speculating that the housing market will keep growing in the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years, which is, I think it will, because we're printing all this money. The more money we print, we create inflation, and that's probably where you're going to be making your money, right?
I mean, I think just the trajectory of growth that Vegas has seen, like it's not slowing down in relation to California's terrible policies. So it's actually good for our market and for our housing market to have folks who are coming in, right? To have folks who are coming in saying, wow, it's so affordable. Wow, I was paying $4,000 a month in rent in a similar square footage in a house that was not brand new. So I'm happy to pay that here.
So you pretty much just target more newer homes than anything?
I like new homes just because, like I said, it's, easy to rent out. It's easy to sell to the renter as well. Yeah. It's a brand new home. No one's ever lived in it, right? And I do like that 1-year warranty that comes from the builder too, where everything's just like set and good to go, right? If you're buying an older home, like there's always something. Yeah, exactly. There's an AC unit, there's a water heater, there's always something. And yes, you have, home protection and things like that. But, in general, if I can go new and fiscally it pencils out, I prefer that.
Now, some of these builders, you can spec out their products, from flooring, cabinets. Do you do all that stuff?
I just go with kind of the normal builder grade because, again, I'm renting it out, right? So it's not that I'm living in it as a primary residence and I want to tweak it to my preferences. I'm so emotionally detached from the design process of it. I mean, I've had my assistant go down there and just take care of it. Like, I just look for, hey, like what's not going to cost me extra, but is still going to be a great quality product for the renter.
Okay. Now, when you look for tenants, is this a property manager that you're going through, or is it just yourself that you're handling your whole portfolio? How does that work? Yeah,
so I prefer to have an agent and property manager handle our stuff, even though there was a long period of time where I just self-managed our stuff.
Yeah.
And so Belinda Clark, who is one of our amazing agents with Engel & Volkers, she's phenomenal. She's such a bulldog. And so I literally, utilize her for purchases, for sales, and also for property management, even though I'm licensed, like I'm equipped to do it. I do think, especially as an investor, it's good to have just a buffer, right? Have an agent who's also an investor. Belinda's an investor as well. So you have an agent who's an investor who understands right away what your goals are, right? And you can share the spreadsheet. You've got it on Google Docs, like everyone's on the same page. And then you just have a buffer. So that way you're not in fear or in danger of making an emotional decision, one. And two, you have a trusted advisor and resource who you can bounce things off of. And they have a fiduciary duty to look out for your best interest because you're their client.
So are you also screening some of the applications? Does she take a look at all the applications, says, you know what? 2 out of 3, they look really good. You may want to look at this. Do you make the final decision, or you just let her handle everything at that point?
I just let her handle it because I trust her judgment. We've worked together for several years now, and I feel like she knows what I prefer, and it just, there's a lot of alignment.
Well, I think nobody wants to mess with you as well because if you ain't paying, you'll be out in 30 days.
We have summary judgment here, okay? Summary evictions here, okay? Like, Nevada doesn't play.
Okay. So I know that you've been doing a lot of stuff as far as entrepreneurship. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years?
I'm just really excited to keep, kind of growing and building everything that myself and my partners have built. And so I have a venture capital fund as well called the Veteran Fund. And
let's talk about that.
Yeah, and we invest in early stage technology companies that are focused on national security and dual use.
Okay.
So I just think that the way that kind of the world is going to, it's going to get really interesting in the next couple of years. And I am excited to, just keep our foot on the gas and continue to build and grow everything, and also just, enjoy, enjoy the fruits of the labor, right? Like it's been, we joke, it's taken me 13 years to become an overnight success. And so
that's not that long. I think that's where a lot of people nowadays, they want gratification right away.
In 3 months, in 6 months.
It doesn't work like that. You literally have to put in the work.
Yes.
But then by the time you're done, you look back, you're like, wow, that actually went by fast.
It did, yeah, exactly.
But it's the whole process of going through it and taking action. You mentioned that earlier. And a lot of people just don't take action.
That's always the hardest part, right? And that's why, I'm happy to put out literally just no gatekeeping, free information on the internet, right? Of here's what I've done, here's what I've built, here's what you can do too, because the percentage of people that actually go out there and do something about it is so small. So I don't look at it as like competition where you're like, oh, I don't want to share these things because someone else might do them. Like, God bless you if you go do it, because execution's the hardest part. And I think if anything, we need more of like the entrepreneurship mindset. We need more small business owners out there in the world. We need more people who are, self-reliant and self-sufficient out there creating their own path.
How do you stay so motivated?
I think just, gratitude. I'm so grateful to get to be in a position where I love every day. I love the variety that I have in my day. I love the people that I get to work with. I have incredible business partners, and we have incredible agents. Like, everyone that we work with are people I truly enjoy spending time with. And I feel like that's a byproduct of being an entrepreneur. If I had like the normal W-2 job, then maybe I hated it, or I didn't like who I worked with, or I didn't like my boss. Like, I think that would be so hard. And so how could you be motivated in that setting for a long period of time?
And are you still selling real estate? I mean, do you take buyers out? The reason why I say this is because you're leveraging everybody out, which is great. What happens if somebody calls you on the podcast and they're like, hey, I want to buy a $10 million home. Can you help me? So how does that work?
Yeah, so I'm no longer a buy-sell agent.
Okay.
In owning the brokerage, myself and Kathy Pkwy was my partner, we made a very conscientious decision where we said, look, like, if we're going to be on a multi-decade journey together, what are the parameters and what's the type of culture that we want to build that's going to keep good people with us for a long time?
Yeah.
And both she and I have come from environments where you compete against your broker for business, or you compete against, seniority of people who've been there longer, who they're higher up on the totem pole than you. And that totally works for some people.
Yeah.
And it did work for that period of time. But what I realized in being in that type of environment was that I didn't want that for long term. So I'm no longer a buy-sell agent. Everything that does come through, I hand out as a referral. So not only do I have my personal sphere and personal network, past clients, I mean, LinkedIn alone, I handed out $26 million worth of referrals from LinkedIn last year.
Oh, wow.
That's the crazy part about, being visible on the internet and having social media platforms. But that's what I love, is that I get a chance to help, push that out as referrals. Look, I take a cut, no lie, right? I take a referral cut.
But you're not lifting a finger. You're not working.
I'm not running around with buyers. I'm not having to do any negotiations on the contracts. I'm not part of the transaction in like a meaningful way.
Yeah.
I just made the intro, and I'm around if, the agent needs me to be around, or if it's that type of relationship with the client where I've known them for a very long time and I'm like around, but I don't have to do the heavy lifting.
Well, what's your biggest platform right now of your audience?
I would say probably Instagram. So I have over 200,000 there. But between
Which
LinkedIn,
is very hard to get. It's not easy.
I mean, LinkedIn's over 20,000 subscribers. Facebook, I've over 20,000. YouTube, over 20,000. So, across everything, like aggregately, I'm closer to 500,000 across everything.
That's impressive.
Just to be visible. TikTok, I think, is like 88,000. So it's kind of all across the board.
And how has social media helped you in your businesses?
The incredible part about social media is that it's ultimately a free marketing platform, right? This is a free marketing tool that's totally available for you to use. It's easy to use, and you can leverage it in any way that you want. You have a lot of people out there, I think, who are like, oh, I'm very private, so I'm not on social media. No one's asking you to post something that you don't want to share, right? That's the beautiful thing about social media, is that you're 100% in control of the content that you put out. So what type of content do you want to be putting out? Do you want it to be helpful and inspiring or uplifting, or are you on there complaining all the time? Like, what's the type of content that you're putting out there? 1, 2, what type of audience is it attracting? And then 3, like, how can you leverage it? And I love that social media allows me to reach a lot of people and help a lot of people all at once.
Well, you know what? That is our time. You literally just like, you can move quick. I can't even keep up.
Oh my goodness.
All right, so Instagram is the best way to get a hold of you, follow you. That's where we can get the course and everything like that, right?
Yeah, the course is just mailboxmoneycourse.com.
Okay.
You can find me on all the social channels. My handle's the same, at Lisa Song Sutton. And I mean, I monitor it, like, my DMs are open, here to help.
Okay, so you don't have somebody in the background replying back, so it's all you then?
No, it's me, yeah.
Okay, cool. So guys, I'm gonna have a link in the description below so you guys can follow her. And Lisa, I really do appreciate you coming out here. I am totally inspired, and I appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Does your house look like and have you been considering remodeling your home for some time now? Well, if you love real estate like I do and appreciate the attention to detail in the craftsmanship required to build a remodel or a gorgeous home, then I got the perfect company for you. Guys, I highly recommend Design Zone Remodeling. They are a stellar company that will turn your outdated home into your own personal sanctuary. They specialize in bathroom remodels, kitchen remodels, and full house remodels. Design Zone Remodeling has a reputation for excellent workmanship, competitive fees, and being able to offer a wide range of services and deliver the outstanding results to their clients. I use Design Zone Remodeling on my personal properties. Give Design Zone Remodeling a call today at 725-223-0871 or visit their website at designzoneremodeling.com to request a free consultation.
Attention contractors, remodelers, and homeowners. Is your renovation becoming a pain in the glass? Here at Glass Vegas, we take care of all of your glass needs, from a broken window to custom shower doors, mirrors, wine enclosures, storefronts, railings, and much more. We can even help you with new or replacement thermally broken windows. We're a full-service, woman-owned glass company that provides unparalleled workmanship, excellent communication, and great customer service. Glass Vegas. We do glass with class.
And projects backed by our 20 years of experience. Whether it's a closet, pantry, garage storage, floor coatings, entertainment center, laundry room, home office, custom bookcases, and window coverings, Closets Las Vegas will give you the look and feel you want in your home. Please contact me, Pat, for your free consultation, and don't forget to ask about 0% financing for 18 months. I look forward to working with you.
Attention.
Hey, what's up everybody? Did you know that 96,000 people move to Las Vegas every single year? The question is why? Well, due to the Fed's interest rate hikes have increased the cost of living for many Americans across the country. Americans are now looking to relocate to Las Vegas because of no state income tax, low unemployment, low cost of living, and affordability for housing. We're also the entertainment capital of the world. So if you are thinking about relocating to Las Vegas, we would like to offer you a free Southern Nevada market report and a relocation guide. All you have to do is click on that link below to claim yours today.